Hello and welcome back to another class. This one is a class on pronunciation and use of technology. So it's a micro lesson on reading, writing and pronunciation, and my name is Mohammed Riaz. The short extract you've just seen is a TV program on BBC from some years ago called Rabsi Nesbeth. And I challenge anyone to understand and tell me what exactly he was saying. Because, firstly, it's a very strong Scottish accent, and secondly, obviously, it's exaggerated to a large extent because it's designed for most people not to understand. I won't tell you at the moment what he said, but maybe we'll come back to that later on. So, pronunciation, of course, is very important in English, and it's important because unless you pronounce the words and sentences correctly, much like Rab, you will not be understood, and therefore you will not achieve any purpose. You will not be able to communicate. Then different countries, different cultures pronounce words differently. For example, in England, we say class, as in the classroom, whereas in the United States, I think they say class. And similarly, in England, we say tomatoes, whereas in the United States, I think they tend to say tomatoes. So there is a slight difference, and ultimately, it's a question of a person's choice and preference as to how they choose to pronounce certain words. A couple of interesting words here are schedule and either. Now, schedule can also be pronounced as schedule. And I think the difference is in purpose. So, a schedule might be like a timetable, whereas for those people who are in business, a schedule might be uh, a meeting or documents you attach to other documents. It's a common phrase used by lawyers. Either or either, both work. Again, it's a matter of your preference as to how you decide to pronounce it, which is basically easier for you. Because the lesson is technology, um, there is a very interesting and simple app which I'm going to show you to use, and we're all going to download it. And it's called Natural Reader. It's available for both all sorts of phones, and we will come back to that later, which will help you pronounce difficult words when you need assistance. To learn pronunciation, if you like, in the old way, is a technique known as minimal pairs. So, take for example um, the example Dr. Dixon gave of rich, which, ditch, switch, itch, and twitch. Now, all of these are very similar and ending in ICH. Okay. One other word that Dr. Dixon raised was photographer, which is really how is said in Europe and England, and photographer, which perhaps is somebody who is new to the language might say. So to break the one word into two words, it's possible and it works, but I don't think either is wrong. It's again a question of preference as to which pronunciation you prefer. Photographer, photographer. This is really the preferred version in Western Europe, in England and America, but I think this is more likely to be said by new learners in, say, Indian subcontinent. So pronunciation and technology are very important, and in fact, I think this is one aspect where technology trumps the teacher to an extent where technology is available, because it may not be available everywhere. And apps like Natural Reader are a tremendous help to enable learners to correctly learn to pronounce words. Now back to Rab Nesbitt. Anyone worked out exactly what he was saying? What he was saying to the man was, "Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm trying to get to Sidcup." Now remember, Rab is a Scottish person, so Scotland and Sidcup are on the opposite ends of the country, and really the accent, the speaking method is very different in both. So this was an example of what is known as connected and reduced speech. So it's language spoken generally day to day. So a lot of words are missing or connected. And this is one of the, if you like, the hazards for new learners to be able to read in to what they're hearing as to what exactly is being said. So connected, reduced speech, pronunciations, different pronunciations in different countries, different ways of saying the same thing.